Today's topic is disorders of amino acid metabolism. So we have four important disorders of amino acid metabolism. The first one is phenylketonuria, so which is also called as PKU. So this disorder is mainly due to lacking of phenylalanine hydroxylase. So this is an enzyme which is responsible for formation of tyrosine from phenylalanine, right? So this enzyme will be converting the phenylalanine into tyrosine. So but here this enzyme will be lacking here. Okay, so it is mainly due to some genetic defects. So there is a gene mutation is there in the chromosome 12. Write down chromosome 12 is having genetic mutations. So due to that, here this enzyme synthesis will be decreased. So unavailable of this enzyme, which leads to inability of utilizing phenylalanine. So that means phenylalanine will not be converting into tyrosine, so that more amount of phenylalanine is there in the blood, so which leads to mental retardation is the main symptom here in this phenylketonuria. So generally we can see this mental retardation in children. So in those children, generally they are having the mental retardedness. They will be having IQ level of 25 to 50. Normally, the children are having IQ level of 70, but so these children which are having phenylketonuria disorder will be having 25 to 50 IQ levels. That means low IQ level we can see in these phenylketonuria patients. And this is a genetic disorder, so mainly due to the genetic defect of chromosome 12. Actually, the phenylalanine is an essential amino acid which will be supplied by a dietary proteins. Okay, and this phenylalanine will be useful for synthesizing the proteins. Okay, it will be useful for synthesizing proteins. But some of the phenylalanine will be useful for converting into tyrosine for the formation of tyrosine. Okay, but here in this condition, due to genetic defect, here this phenylalanine hydroxylase will not be produced here, so that phenylalanine will not be converting into tyrosine. As we know that tyrosine will be useful for many other processes, so it will be useful for synthesizing catecholamines. So that means neurotransmitters will be synthesized from this tyrosine, and thyroxine hormone will be synthesized, and melanin is also synthesized from the tyrosine. We have already discussed in the previous classes about this. Melanin levels will be increased in our blood, finally producing phenyl pyruvates, phenyl acetates, and phenyl ketones. Okay, so these are the other important compounds which are produced by alternative pathway of phenylalanine. Actually, this is the actual pathway. Here the phenylalanine must be converting into tyrosine, but here the stoppage of this pathway, so which leads to the alternate pathways of the phenylalanine. Okay, so this phenylalanine will be getting the alternate pathways and finally forming phenyl pyruvate, lactate, and acetate. Okay, so that in our urine, so we can see these high levels of phenyl ketones, phenyl lactates, and acetates. Okay, so that this condition is called to be phenylketonuria. So here phenyl ketones are more in our urea. Okay, so this condition is called to be phenylketonuria. So we can diagnose this disease by different tests. Okay, so before that, so we need to see this chromosome 12, which is responsible for phenylketonuria. Okay, here the gene will be defected here in this chromosome. There is genetic mutation is occurred in this chromosome 12, which leads to phenylketonuria. And there are few symptoms are there for phenylketonuria, such as mental retardation. This is the main important symptom, mental retardedness. And second one is agitation. Write down agitation, hyperactivity. Few children are very active, hyperactive, and tremors and convulsions. Okay, these are the common symptoms of PKU, phenylketonuria: agitation, hyperactivity, tremor, and convulsions. Okay, so this is very much important to treat this disease immediately. Why? Because so if you delaying this process, if you starting the process lately, so what happens here is, so for every 10 weeks, the IQ level, so of 5 point IQ level will be decreased. Actually, they're having less IQ level, that is 25 to 50, normally 70. But when we are delaying this process, delaying this stress treatment process, then for every 10 weeks, the 5 IQ level will be decreases. So that's why the treatment has to be started immediately. And but unfortunately, there is no specific treatment for this disease. Okay, so we need to take a low phenylalanine diet. Okay, so why? Because phenylalanine is not converting into tyrosine here in these cases. So that's why, so we need to take low phenylalanine diet. So we can take cassava, write down cassava, CASSAVA. Cassava is is also called as sweet potato. So we need to take sweet potato till 5 years of age, right? And also we can take low phenylalanine diet. So there is no specific treatment for this disorder. And if you see the test for this phenylketonuria, so how can we test it? How can we identify it? How can we diagnose it? By using Guthrie test. So what is Guthrie test? So this is a microbiological test. Here we can use bacteria. So generally we are using E. coli bacteria. For example, Bacillus subtilis. Write down Bacillus subtilis is an enzyme, sorry, is a bacteria, so which is used here. And this Bacillus subtilis needs phenylalanine. So why? Because phenylalanine is an amino acid, so which is very essential for Bacillus subtilis for the growing. Okay, to grow this bacteria, so it requires phenylalanine. So that's why the patient blood is the phenylalanine will be separated from the patient blood, and then we can place it here in this bacterial culture. And here the bacteria will be developed or grown by this, by utilizing this phenylalanine. Okay, so that we can easily clearly identify the spots, the bacterial growth, that we can clearly identify it in the presence of phenylalanine, so that we can identify whether our plasma levels are having high amount of phenylalanine or not by using this Guthrie's test. Okay, so it was discovered in 1960. And the next text is called to be ferric chloride test. So here a biochemical agent will be added, that is ferric chloride, so which is a reagent here we are adding. And when we are adding this reagent to the urine, this is a urine test. Okay, so generally this urine is containing few important components such as phenyl ketones, phenyl lactates, and phenyl acetate. We have already discussed that phenyl ketones, lactates, and acetates are formed by the alternative pathways of phenylalanine. So that urine will be getting more amount of these phenyl ketones, acetate, and lactates. So now we are adding ferric chloride, a biochemical reagent. So when it is added, so immediately it gives a transient blue green color. Write down transient blue green color. So that indicates the urine is containing phenyl ketones, lactates, and acetates. That means the patient is suffering with phenylketonuria, right? So this is the second test, that is called ferric chloride test. And the second disorder is called to be alkaptonuria. Alkaptonuria. Here, alkaptone is a black pigment. So that's why this is called alkaptonuria. So here the urine become black color. So in this disorder, okay. So that's why this disorder is also called to be black urine disease. Write down black urine disease. Why? Because urine is containing more amount of alkaptone bodies, which are black pigments. Okay, so what is the main cause of alkaptonuria? Here, this main cause is the deficiency of homogentisic acid oxidase. So this is an enzyme which will be useful for conversion of homogentisic acid to mallyl acetoacetic acid. Okay, so due to deficiency of this enzyme, homogenetic acid is not converting, so that more amount of homogenetic genticate oxidase is present in our body. Sorry, homogenetic acid is present in our body, so that it leads to a black urine disease. Okay, so what is happening actually? So here, when the increasing level of homogenetic acid, which gets oxidized and it is converting into a quinone or alkaptone bodies. Okay, so before forming of alkaptone bodies, there will be forming a quinone that is called benzoquinone acetate. Okay, so meaning homogenetic acid is oxidized and forming benzoquinone acetates. Okay, now this benzoquinone acetates gets polymerized and finally forming alkaptone bodies. So these alkaptone bodies are black or brown color pigments. So due to presence of more amount of these pigments, here the urine will be getting black color, and this pigment so will be located in all connective tissues. It will be deposited in all connective tissues. It will be deposited in bones. It will be deposited in cartilage of nose, pinna of ear. Everywhere it will be deposited. We can see black color spots on our body due to presence of this black color pigment. Okay, and due to deposition of more deposition of alkaptone in the bones, it finally leads to arthritis, right? So this is a very dangerous disorder, and this is the symptom of alkaptonuria. Here urine will be getting a black color. This is a normal urine. Okay, so it is finally reaching an alkaptonuria. It becomes alkaptonuria, right? So why? Because here a black color pigment will be developed here by the polymerization of benzoquinone acetates. Okay, so when the normal urine will be standby for about half an hour or 1 hour, so it will be getting a black color urine. Okay, so it was found a few years back. So when patients are getting blackened underwears, so when they are sleeping in at the night, their underwears are nice, but when they're waking up in the morning, so they're surprised to see their underwear, they're completely blackened. So finally, they found that reason that this is mainly due to alkaptonuria. Okay, by formation of black color pigment in the urine. So that leads to alkaptonuria, right? So this is also tested by uh, identified by two important tests, that is ferrichloride test as well as Benedict test. So here we can see the black color spots in the eyes and pinna of ears and also in the bones, right? So that means here the alkaptone is the black pigment which will be deposited in all tissues, connective tissues, right? So this alkaptone is also identified or diagnosed by two tests, that is ferrichloride test we have already discussed. A transient blue green color will be appeared due to presence of alkaptone bodies. And the second test is called Benedict test. Write down. Benedict test will be useful for diagnose alkaptonuria. Okay. So what is the result here? Here we can get yellow color precipitate when we add Benedict reagent to the urine, right? So when we add Benedict reagent to the urine, so we'll get yellow color precipitate. So that indicates the patient is suffering from alkaptonuria. And here there is no specific treatment for this disease. We have to take low phenylalanine food. Here we can see this is low phenylalanine food, mostly vegetables, and we can take carbohydrates also. And we have to take low protein food. Okay, actually the fish, meat, wheat, eggs, nuts and legumes, these are very very proteinish food. So this is very much important. But here in this case, we should not consume more amount of protein food. We should avoid this high protein food. So why? Because this protein food which will be containing high level of phenylalanine. Okay, so we need to avoid this high proteinaceous food. We need to take only low protein food. And the next disorder is called to be albinism. Okay, so this is the condition that generally we can see outside. Okay, so this is also an autosomal recessive disorder. It is also a genetic problem. It is also an inborn error. Here albino means white, so that means here in this condition, in this disease, the melanin is not produced. This is the main reason for this albinism disorder. Here melanin is not synthesized. What is the reason? So here the tyrosinase is the key enzyme for producing or synthesizing melanin. Okay. So this melanin will be synthesized by tyrosinase enzyme. Okay. This is catalyzing this reaction. That means DOPA is converting into melanin. So this reaction is catalyzed by tyrosinase. But here the tyrosinase is not produced properly here. Okay, so no tyrosinase is available here, so that DOPA is not converting into melanin. So that melanin is not produced in the melanocytes, so that melanin is not reaching to the keratocytes. Actually, what is happening here is after producing the melanin in the melanocyte, so these melanin molecules will be polymerized and it will be stored in the melanosomes. Okay, but here, due to lacking of melanosomes and melanocytes, here melanin will not be produced as well as it will not be polymerized and it will not be stored also. So that lacking of melanin, so which leads to albinism. And after formation of the melanin, so this melanin will be reaching to the keratocytes, which are there in the skin and hair. And these keratocytes which are lacking of this melanin, which finally leads to albinism. So that's why the skin color is changed. Skin color will become white and hair color is also become white in this condition. So when there is a lacking of melanin, so what is happening here? The melanin is very much useful for protecting our skin from the UV rays, so that we can get a skin cancers due to lacking of this melanin. So here we can see the symptoms. So first one is iris. So very light blue or translucent iris is present. Okay, sometimes this iris will be gray or red color. So it is mainly due to hypopigmentation. So pigment will be decreases. The melanin is deposited here, but actually the melanin is not produced in this condition. So that's why the hypopigmentation state will be appeared here. Here iris become gray or red color. And here in this condition we can see visual problems and visual activity will be decreases, focus will be decreases in those patients. Okay, but here the visual vision is not impaired, it is not completely stopped, but the problem here is the vision activity, the visual activity will be decreases. They cannot see directly the sunlight. And the next, skin. So skin doesn't have sufficient amount of melanin. So why? Because melanin is not produced in this condition. So that's why a milky white color skin that we can see here in this condition. And due to lacking of melanin, so here we have high risk of skin cancers. Why? Because melanin is very much important for protecting our body from the UV radiation. And hair also become white color due to lacking of melanin in the keratocytes. Okay, so these are the symptoms of albinism. And the next one is called tyrosinemia. Write down, tyrosinemia is the fourth disorder of amino acid metabolism. So here the tyrosinemia will be three types: tyrosinemia 1, tyrosinemia type 2, and neonatal tyrosinemia. So third one is called neonatal tyrosinemia. Coming to the first one, tyrosinemia type 1. So this tyrosinemia type 1, which is also called to be tyrosinosis, write down tyrosinosis or hepatorenal tyrosinemia, hepatorenal tyrosinemia. So why? Because here this enzyme which is present in hepatic region, liver region as well as renal, that is kidney region. So that means due to lacking of this enzyme, so liver will be damaged as well as kidneys also will be damaged. So that's why this is also called as hepatorenal tyrosinemia or tyrosinosis. Okay. So how it is occurred? So what is the cause of this tyrosinemia one? So it is mainly due to lacking of fumarate acetoacetate hydrolase. So this is an enzyme which is responsible for conversion of this is the enzyme which is responsible for formation of fumarate and acetoacetate. This is the final reaction in amino acid metabolism. So which is useful for conversion of 4-fumaryl acetoacetate to fumarate and acetoacetate. We have already discussed about this reaction in the previous class. So fumarate is a glucogenic product, so which will be useful for formation of glucose molecules, and acetoacetate is a ketone body which is useful for formation of fat. Okay, so here this fumaryl acetoacetate hydrolase will be lacking here, so which finally leads to tyrosinemia, right? And here we can see a few symptoms, important symptoms. Write down cabbage like odor. When the patient is having this tyrosinemia, so he will be getting, so he will be giving cabbage like odor. Hypoglycemia, that means decreasing the level of glucose in our blood. Hypoglycemia. Liver kidney failure, liver and kidney failure, and mild mental retardation. These are the common symptoms of tyrosinemia type 1. Okay, so this disease has to be treated rapidly. Why? Because this is very dangerous disease, so it finally leads to death. Okay, so how can we treat this disease? So we can treat, there is no treatment for this disease. We need to take a restricted amount of phenylalanine and tyrosine. Okay, so that means we have to take low amount of phenylalanine and tyrosine from the diet. So that is only the treatment, right? And the next one is tyrosinemia type 2. So tyrosinemia type 2, so here it is mainly due to lacking of tyrosine amino transferase. So this is the second reaction in amino acid metabolism. So what happened here? Amine group will be transferred to the alpha ketoglutarate, and this tyrosine is converting into a para hydroxyphenyl pyruvate. So this is a PLP dependent reaction. Okay, so when this enzyme is lacking here, it finally leads to tyrosinemia type 2. So here also we can see few important symptoms. First one is keratosis. So here we can see these symptoms: keratosis, eye lesions, eye lesions, rarely mental retardation, rarely mental retardation, and photophobia. So these patients also cannot see the light directly. They will be having photophobia. Okay, so here also we need to take low protein diet. So that is only the treatment. There is no specific medication for this disorder. And the next one is called neonatal tyrosinemia. This is the third type of tyrosinemia, neonatal tyrosinemia. So which is mainly due to lacking of para-hydroxyphenyl pyruvate hydroxylase. This is the enzyme responsible for neonatal tyrosinemia. When this enzyme is lacking, so there is no conversion of para-hydroxyphenyl pyruvate to homogenesic acid, right? So that leads to neonatal tyrosinemia. So what is the treatment here? Here we need to administer Ascorbic acid. Why? Because ascorbic acid, vitamin C, is very essential for conversion of para-hydroxyphenyl pyruvate to homogenetic acid. So we have learned in the previous class, ascorbic acid will be involving in oxidative decarboxylation and it is forming homogenetic acid. Okay, so ascorbic acid will be producing from vitamin C. So that's why those patients, those who are having neonatal tyrosinemia, they need to take more amount of vitamin C, so which promotes the conversion of para-hydroxyphenyl pyruvate to homogenetic acid. And also they have to take a restricted amount of proteins. Okay, so low protein diet has to be taken so that we can control this disorder. Okay, so this is about the disorders of amino acid metabolism.